Hi, let us look at the following test questions. But before then, I want to make a few corrections to some of the questions that we've looked at before. Now, these corrections, they are inevitable. Sometimes they are errors due to omission, like that. There was this question we solved, this particular question: how much potential energy does the proton lose at its force through a potential drop of 5 kilovolts? The correct answer, we solved it and the answer gave us negative 8.0 times 10 raised to the power of minus 16 joule. But we took for the positive value, which is A. That's not the correct answer. We should go with the negative value. Why? Because the something went through a potential drop of 5 kilovolts. It went through a potential drop of 5 kilovolts. Okay, so that is that for that particular one. Now, in a student's house in Amasoma, a 1400 watt water heater. So we have 1400 watt water heater, a 360 watt flat screen, 360, and a handheld operating iron, which is 800 watts, are all plugged into the same. Now, so this is the power: 140 plus 360 plus 800, and then the voltage is 120 volt. Now, what is the total current? Now, the power we total to how many? 140 plus 360 plus 800. That we total to 2560. Now we know that the power P is equal to IV for electrical energy. For what? Electrical energy, the power is equal to what? IV. Now we know how to prove this formula. If P is equals to IV, to calculate for I, what do? We make I the subject of the formula by dividing both sides by what? Dividing both sides by V. So our I is equal to P over V, and P is 2560 divided by V is 120 volts. This is in watt. When this cancels this, the answer is 21.3 ampere. So that is the correct answer in the option 21.3 ampere. The next question says, a patient is undergoing a heart surgery. A sustained current as small as 35 current, if it's as small as 35 microampere. Microampere is what? 35 times 10 raised to the power of minus 6 ampere. Passing through the heart can be fatal. Assume that the heart has a constant resistance. Resistance is 215 ohm. Determine the minimum voltage. Determine the minimum voltage that will pose a danger to the patient. Now, voltage is equal to IR, where your I is your current and your R is your resistance. So our V is equal to the current 35 times 10 raised to the power of minus 6 times R, which is 250. And this will give us, or this will total to, when you multiply them, they will give you, when you multiply this, it will give you 8.75 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 volt. 8.75 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 volt. Now, minus 3 means milli, okay? So we can say 8.75 millivolts. So times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 means millivolts, and this will be what? 8.75 millivolts. And that is the correct option in your This is the correct answer in your list of options that will be given to you. Now the next question. One of the circuits in a CD player operates on a current of 35 milliampere. Now the current is given as 35 milliampere, which we can break down to 35 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 ampere. How many electrons enter and leave this part of the CD in 1 second? Our I, or our T rather, the time is 1.0 seconds. The time is 1.0 seconds. Now we know that Q is equal to IT. I used to say the quantity of current is equal to the current in ampere, or the quantity of charges is equal to the current in ampere times the time, because we said that the electric current is the rate of flow of charges. That is to say, the charge over T. Electric current is the rate of flow of charges, or the amount of charges that flow through a point at time T. So if we make Q serial to the formula, this over 1 cross multiply Q is equals to IT. That was how we got Q is equal to IT. Now the next thing you need to know is, were you given Q? Yes. Were you given I? Yes. Were you given T? Yes. So our Q, which is the quantity of charges, is 35 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3, which is the current in ampere, times 1.0 seconds, and everything gives you 35 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 coulomb. So this is the quantity of charges. Okay, now but we know that one electron, we are to find the number of electrons. Okay, we know that one electron has a charge of 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19 coulomb. One electron has a charge of 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Therefore, the charge X would be equal to 35 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 coulomb. Because you are trying to look for the number of electrons, you know the charge in coulomb. If one electron is equals to 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19, it means that X electron will be equals to 35 times 10 raised to the power of what? Minus 3. And then when you solve this, this is 3.5. Please take note, not 35. It was a typo error. 3.5, not 35. Okay, it's 3.5, I believe so. So this is 3.5. Take it here, 3.5 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3. So when we cross multiply, what is it going to give to us? It's going to give us X times 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19 coulomb is equal to 3.5 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3. Now divide both sides by 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19. Divide by 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19. Okay, minus 19. Then this cancel this, your S will be equals to, when this cancel this, what do you think would be our answer? What do you think would be our answer? Our answer would be 2.2 times 10 raised to the power of 16 electrons. And that is the correct answer to that question. 2.2 times 10 raised to the power of 16. I used to say if you divide 3.5 times 10 raised to the power of minus 3 divided by 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19, it will give you 2.2 times 10 raised to the power of 16 electrons. So those are the total number of electrons, and this is the correct answer to that question. Now let's go to the next. Relative distribution of charge density on the surface of a conductive sphere depends on the shape. That is why we have linear distribution, depend on the shape. If it is linear, we have area distribution, depend on the shape, and we have what? The volume charge distribution. So practically, the distribution of charge on the surface of a conducting sphere depends on the shape of the conductor. Now, what is the force of repulsion between two argon nuclei separated by 2.0 nanometer? Now, argon nuclei, first of all, we need to write out our parameters. Let's write out our parameters. Now, we have the distance of separation, arrow is 2.0 nanometer, which is 2 times 10 raised to the power of minus 9 meter. Now, two argon nuclei, the number of electrons in argon, let's say the charge, Q1 is equal to Q2 because they are the same atom, or they are the same ion equation, two argon nuclei. Now, argon has atomic mass of 18. So atomic number of 18, and hence it has 18 electrons. Okay, so each argon nuclei we have 18 times the charge on the electron is what? 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19 coulomb. So each argon nuclei will be having this, and then your K is 9.0 times 10 raised to the power of 9. Now, if you start solving this using the Coulomb's law states that F is equal to K Q1 Q2 all over R square. Now, substituting your values, what are you going to have? F is 9.0 times 10 raised to the power of 9 times 18 times 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19 times another 18 times 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19, because we said each argon nuclei has a charge of this. So the two of them will be what? Times 2, which is written in two places, divided by R square, which is 2.0 times 10 raised to the power of minus 9 meter. Now, when you punch this in your calculator, the answer it gives to me is 18.6 times 10 raised to the power of minus 9 Newton, which is F will be what? 18.6 nano Newton. And that is the answer to that question. But in the question paper, there was no option like this. So maybe it's due to typographical error or something of sorts. Now, you must know that this group here is squared, okay? Because it's arrow squared. So, but when you still solve, you arrive at this answer as a final answer. So that is basically how to go about this question. Let's take the next. Two metal plates are attached to the two terminals of 1.5 volt battery. How much work is required to carry a plus 5 microcoulomb charge from a negative to a positive plate? Now, the voltage or the potential difference we said is the work done all over the what? The charge. So work done will be equal to what? The charge times voltage. So work done would be equal to, what was the charge given to you? Plus 5 times 10 raised to the power of minus 6, which is coulomb, times the voltage. The voltage is what? 1.5 volt. The reason why I wrote this is because we are giving 5 microcoulomb. 5 microcoulomb is expressed as 5 times 10 raised to the power of minus 6 coulomb. Then your voltage is equal to 1.5 volt. So multiplying the two to give us 7.5 times 10 raised to the power of minus 6 joule. Now, times 10 raised to the power of minus 6 means what? Micro. So this becomes 7.5 microjoule. And that makes this option to be the correct answer, 7.5 microjoule. Now let's look at the next question. The next question says, at what distance would the repulsion force between two electrons have a magnitude of 5.0 Newton. So the force is 5.0 Newton. At what distance? The distance arrow is what? Unknown. Now what are we talking about? Electrons. So we have to talk about the charges or the charge in an electron. So Q1 is equals to Q2 because you are talking about 2 electrons, which is 1.0 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19. Each electron has a charge of this. So this becomes F is K Q1 Q2 all over r square, which is equals to 5.0 Newton is 9.0 times 10 raised to the power of 9 times Q1 is 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19 times Q2 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19. Then we have divided by r square, which is the distance of separation we are looking for. So this becomes 5.0 Newton. If we cross multiply r square multiply this, it gives us what? Times r square is equal to, then we have 9.0. This multiply this will still give us the same thing, times 10 raised to the power of 9 times 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19 times 1.60 times 10 raised to the power of minus 19. So our r square would be equal to, where you multiplied everything there, what are you going to have? First of all, let's divide by 5.0. okay, if we divide both sides by 5.0, this we cancel this, r square will be equals to, multiply, simplify everything here, press it to your calculator once, and then this will give us 4.6 times 10 raised to the power of minus 29. So our arrow will be the square root, because to find arrow you find the square root of both sides. 4.6 times 10 raised to the power of minus 29, and that will give us 6.78 times 10 raised to the power of minus 15. So our arrow 6.78 times 10 raised to the power of minus 15 meter is the distance of separation, meter. Are we getting it now? It is in meter. Now that is that for that answer to that question. Now we have a question that says a non-uniform electric field is given by this, which pierces a Gaussian cube of sides 3 meters placed at the origin of a Cartesian coordinate. What is the electric field through the top of the face? What is the electric field through the top? Now the electric field, let's say that this is our cube, okay? Let's say that this is our cube. Now there are two electric fields out here, two components. We have the horizontal component and the vertical component. And we know that the horizontal component is parallel, are we getting it, to the surface, but then the surface is perpendicular to the vertical component of the field. And we know Gauss law is, or the Gauss law is what? E times what? A. What is the electric flux? Supposed to be electric flux, not electric field. Electric flux. The electric flux is given as E times what? A. The perpendicular area. Perpendicular area, E times A. So therefore, this will become, we are only looking for the electric field component that will be what? Perpendicular to the top and not parallel to it. So we'll not be working with the S component. We'll be working with only the what? Only the J component, which is the Y component. The J component is the Y component and is a component. We have the S and Y coordinate. This one is the one facing up, and this one is the one that is what? That is perpendicular to it. Are you getting it now? So we are working with this one that's perpendicular and forgetting about the 3.0. Now the sides of the cube, the side is 3 meters. Now the area of the cube will now be 3 times 3, which is equals to 9. Now, but because we are working with vectors, the 9, is it perpendicular? Yes, it's in the y what axis, so we put it as what? 9j. So our theta, or our electric flux, will be equal to 4.0 times the perpendicular area is 9.0 joule. So we have 4.0 times 9.0, and this, not joule, this j, telling you is in the vertical axis, and this will give us 36 Newton per coulomb per meter square. There was a particular question that we solved on this, and we made a mistake which we are going to correct in subsequent videos. But this is how to provide solution to this. Is placed at the origin of a Cartesian coordinate. Now, if they say the electric field through the sides, now the electric field through the side, you agree with me that the vertical component is parallel with the side, but the horizontal component is what? Is parallel, or is perpendicular to the side. We only look at the side that is perpendicular. Are we getting it now? If we look at it very well, this is perpendicular to it. Are we getting it now? So to the side, the electric field, we are not going to use the 4.0 because that component there is 0. Then we are going to use 3.0 times what? 9, which will give us 27. So if they say find the electric field to the side, it will be 3.0 times 9, and that will give us 27. Okay, so that is the answer to that question. 36 Newton per coulomb per meter square. Now, at what distance we've solved this? Two identical resistors with resistance 6 ohm are connected as follows. The first two are connected in parallel. Now, the resistance in parallel is 1 over R1 plus 1 over what? R2. We are told that the first two are connected in parallel, which is then connected in series with the third. Find the equivalent resistance. Now, each of the resistance is how many ohm? 6 ohm. Okay, each of the resistance is 6 ohm. So 1 over R equivalent for the first one connected in parallel, for the first two connected in parallel. Let's look for the equivalent resistance. That will give us 1 all over 6 plus 1 all over 6. And then 1 over R equivalent would be equals to, what is the LCM of 6 and 6 is 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1, plus 6 divided by 6 is 1. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 6 divided by 6 again is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. So we have 1 over R equivalent is equal to 1 plus 1 is what? 2 over 6. Now, for us to change them, this one will come up, this one will come down. Same way, this one will come up, this one will come down. That is reciprocal. So we have arrow equivalent over 1 is equals to what? Automatically this becomes 6 over 1. As I'm bringing this one up, this one down, this one is also coming up, and this one coming down. Then our arrow equivalent will be equals to 6 divided by 2 is what? 3 ohm. So the equivalent resistance of the two resistances is 3 ohm. Now, they said that one is connected in series to the third one. The third one is, so we have 3 ohm. The third one is also a 6 ohm because they told you that the three of them were initially what? 6 ohm, which is, we have 6 ohm, 6 ohm, 6 ohm. The equivalent of this one in parallel gave us 3 ohm. So we are left with this one and this one in series now. This one in series will be this, or simply the addition of these two values here. The addition of 3 ohm plus 6 ohm will give us what? 9 ohm. So the correct answer to that question is what? Is 9 ohm. Okay, now an electron moves on a path perpendicular to the direction of a uniform electric field. How much work is done on the electron as it moves 15 centimeters? Now, what is work done? We can say work done is force times distance cos what? Theta. This, from this formula, that was where every other formula was derived. Okay, work done is equals to what? Force times distance cos theta. Now, if the electron moves perpendicular to the direction of the uniform field, it means that the electron is at 90 degrees to the what? To the uniform field. Now the work done will be what? Our force times distance. From this formula, that was where they derived the formula of this is equals to Q Q over, I believe, it was from the formula they derive the work, V is equals to the work done over Q, and work done is Q times what? V. Are we getting it now? So our W is equal to, if this angle is 90 degree, it will be what? F times cos theta, F times D cos what? 90, and W will be equals to cos 90 is what? 0. F times D is what? Times 0 is what? 0. Anything times 0 at all is what? Is 0. Okay, so that makes that option to everything there to add up to 0. Okay, it's 2 capacitors, 4 microfarad and 6 microfarad are connected in series in a circuit. What is the equivalent capacitance? Now, if they are connected in series, capacitors in series is the reciprocal, so this becomes 1 over 4 plus 1 all over 6. This becomes 1 over CEQ is equals to, the LCM of 4 and 6 is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4 divided by 6, 12 divided by 6 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. And this will give us 1 over C equivalent is equal to 3 plus 2 is what? 5 divided by 12. Now, find the reciprocal. This one comes up, this one comes down, this one comes up, and this one comes down. So what are we going to have? We have CEQ over 1 is equal to 12 over 5. It means that our C equivalent, which is the equivalent capacitors, is 2.4 microfarad. And that makes this option the correct answer. Now, Q1 has 50 electric field lines. Q1 has 50 electric field lines radiating outward, and Q2 has 100 electric field lines converging inward. What is the ratio of Q1 and Q2? Now, if 50 electric field are radiating outward, it means the electric field will be what? Positive 50, because we said the positive charge are the ones that does what? That radiate outward. Positive charges, they radiate outward. You see them indicated like this. Okay, positive charges radiate outward, while the negative charge does what? Radiate inward. Okay, negative charges radiate inward. Okay, so if they tell you that Q1, which has 50 electric field lines, radiates outward, it means that it's positive charge, which is plus 50. And then Q2 has 100 electric field lines converge inward. The one that converges inward is what? 100. So it's negative. So we have minus 100. What is the ratio? Now, for you to find ratio, you say 50 divided by what? Minus 100. That is what ratio is all about. Are we getting it? Which is 50 ratio minus 100, and this is the same as 50 over 100. So this cancel this, and everything gives us minus 0.5 as the ratio. Ratio has no unit, so we leave it as minus 0.5. Now, you are given this question initially, but then we made a mistake. Now, make sure that you actually see this question first. A uniform electric field, there was an omission here. Here I put X and Y. Are we getting it? So that you not go and do the wrong thing. X and Y, and I solved with X and Y. If they say Y Z, it's a different thing entirely. Okay? Now we have the following question. Please take note of this question. It's very important you do so. But before we could be able to solve this question, let's bring out our coordinates. We have this as our coordinate. This is often X, this is Y, and this is Z. Now, for Gauss' law, if you want to determine the flux, it is usually E times what? A. That means the area that is what? Perpendicular to the field. Are we getting it? The area that is perpendicular to that particular field. Do we understand? Now, this particular electric field has two components. We have the I component, which is the S component, and the J component, which is the Y component. But we don't have the what? S component. This is X, this is Y, and this is what? Z. Are we getting it now? Which is often represented as this is Y, and this is X, Y, Z, which is represented with I, J, and what? K. Now we must find the electric field that is perpendicular to the surface. The surface, they told you, is in the what? SY plane. So let's assume that this is where the surface is. Let's assume that this is the surface in question. The electric field flux that we must find is this one that is coming from here, which is only the one at the what? X component. Do we understand? It's only the one from the S component, because we are finding the one that is perpendicular. How many lines actually passed perpendicularly? Hence, the positive or the J component, which is the one acting upward, does not really matter in this question. Hence, this one can be regarded as 0. So we are only looking at what? 6, which is the S component, because that is the electric field that is passing through the what? The surface. So this becomes 6 times the electric field now is now 6. So phi is 6 times what? Our area was given to us as what? A, because we said that electric flux is E times A perpendicular. E times A perpendicular. So this is equal to what? 6A, not root 45A. So the correct answer to this question is 6A, not root 45A. So please make sure you actually look at these coordinates given here. Is it the S and Y plane or the Y and Z plane? You saw how I traced it out. If it is on the Y and Z plane, it means the only vector acting is from the what? X direction, and hence you use only the one from the S direction. X is represented with Y, with I. Y is represented with J, and what? Z is represented with what? K. So we only use the one from the I direction. That is the electric field that is actually piercing through the surface. That is why the answer is 6A and not root 45. So make sure you take note of this particular question and the answer that it will actually give. Answer is 6A, not 45, root 45A. Root 45 is when you are talking about the S and Y plane. That means even if it's on the X and Y plane, it means that only the Z will what? We add. And if the Z add, the answer will be what? 0 even. Are you getting it down? It will only, there is no way that the two components can even work together. So the correct answer is what? 6. Okay? That is the answer to that question.